Vocaloid.
Hey everybody, Josh Bess here. In this video, I'll explain how I edited the parameters within the Vocaloid editor in the recent Against the Clock video I've created within this short video series. If you haven't seen that video, definitely go check it out. There'll be a link for it in the description of this video, along with some free downloads you can pick up from the Vocaloid blog. So the first thing to note are all the parameters down here that you can edit with each note. You have the choice of all these parameters to edit to bring more life to your vocals, and I'll be going over a few of them in this video. The first one I used is the velocity. And this one alone is creating a big difference, as you can hear specifically in the hard consonant type of sounds, like the B sound in Remember. So basically when the velocity is high, the note is elongated and the consonants don't have as much of an impact, where a lower velocity will close the sound up quicker, creating a quick and short note, although it has a little bit more power to the hard consonants like P's, B's, and other hard syllables. So this is definitely a helpful parameter to utilize, as you can completely control the way the singer sounds with this alone. Next, the dynamics. I'll let you hear this at its full level.
I remember you.
And now back to my edited version. You can hear a big difference, and this is mainly a volume control. It's a very simple parameter, although the volume alone can create a big difference in your singer, as you can bring more feeling and emotion and physical distance to every word that they're saying. And you have the choice to cut these words out however you like, depending on how you draw the fades in. So this is a very helpful parameter as well, and definitely helps with the emotional side of what your singer is singing. Now, these two parameters work hand in hand with each other for the most part, the brightness and clearness. For example, the brightness at its standard level.
I remember you.
And with my edits. You can hear it mostly on the ends over here with the words remember and you. I wanted each phrase to kind of fade out with this sad and emotional sound, where it sounded like the singer wanted to say something, but she was possibly embarrassed to say it, so she's like covering her mouth or slightly moving away while saying it. And I wanted to bring this type of sound to the phrase, and I feel the brightness allows you to create this type of sound by bringing down the parameter in a situation like this. Where the clearness achieves an opposite effect, where I can bring out more of a higher and brighter frequency to the voice. So this is the vocal without any clearness added. And this is it with my edits. You can hear I added it on some words at the beginning of the phrase, and in this case it was really to bring more of an impact to the second half of it. For example, if the first half is brighter, the second half will feel even more darker from that. So that's the main idea of the clearness. In this case, it was really to make the word remember sound a bit more natural with a brighter R sound, along with making the end of the phrase sound more emotional and darker, as there's now a wider contrast between the bright and the dark areas of the vocal phrase. So if there's any side tips to take out of this for your own music production, it's the simple idea that if you want to make something sound darker and more emotional, what you can do is simply make something else sound brighter and happier, as the contrast between the two will be even greater when you hear them side by side. And now the opening. This is a parameter similar to the velocity parameters, as this will replicate the sound of opening or closing the singer's mouth for every note. So a low level will create a quick, muffled sound, where a high level will create a long, open, and well-pronounced note. And one of my favorites is the gender factor. This parameter will simply act as a formant filter, and as you turn the parameter up, the voice will sound deeper. And And as you turn the parameter down, the voice will sound higher. And the same note is being sung. The main difference is the filter shape on the sound, bringing the characteristic of a higher or lower voice. And I use this a lot on specific notes, such as the word I on the beginning of this phrase. There's certain words like I that can sound too fake and happy if the sound is too bright, where simply adding some gender factor to bring some of the high end out of that single note will make it sound more natural and believable. Both as a real singer, along with sounding like the phrase, has emotion attached to it as well. And the last parameter I used in this phrase is the pitch bend. Here's it without the pitch bend applied. And here it is with the pitch bend. You can hear it's a subtle difference, although this small parameter definitely adds the most characteristic to the overall sound. And without the pitch bend, every single note sounds a little too perfect. And either the best singer in the world or even somebody who is using autotune will always have some type of pitch change in their singing, especially with the word remember. Without the pitch change, it sounds a little too straight, where this small pitch bend helps it connect to these two other notes a little more. And you can see I add these pitch bend waves all throughout the singing as well to bring more of a natural vibrato and waviness to the voice without it sounding out of tune, because I'm simply adding slight movements to the longer notes. And this is all controlled through the pitch bend sensitivity. For example, this is set to 2 right now, meaning as I change the pitch bend parameter, the note will only be brought down by 2 notes at max. So if I bring this all the way up to 24, for example, this note will now pitch all the way up 2 octaves, which is 24 notes. So you can hear this part is going crazy right now with all these pitch bends, where this section over here is still intact with the original pitch bend setting. And the last thing I added on here was some slight reverb and delay with the included Cubase audio effects, something to simply add some background space and ambience to the vocal. And after exporting and adding some extra effects like EQ and vocal doubling effects, I chopped off the first word to bring some space for the kick drum hit as well, and I ended up creating this sound. And that's really all I did to create the sound. I hope this helps you out and can get you started with Vocaloid, along with adding new tricks to your workflow. Once again, if you haven't seen the original video where I go against the clock with Vocaloid, definitely watch that, as you can see the aftermath of everything I talked about in this video. Enjoy.